Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So I want to talk about what happened in Hermitage. But before we get into that, I want to talk about Andrew Jackson, because there's a cool little historical connection in my mind, beyond the obvious. So Andrew Jackson got propelled to the national scene after his victory at the Battle of New Orleans. It was during the War of 1812, but not really, because the war was over. The Treaty of Ghent had already been signed, just news hadn't gotten to him yet. But the war, hostilities, had ended. The Brits were trying to take New Orleans. Jackson defeated them. In reality, it was more a bad British battle plan than Jackson's brilliance. But it didn't matter. Plays, songs, movies, even later, were made about it. Made him a hero. That's what enabled him to attain the presidency later. Was a battle that was fought after the war was over. Sometimes wars are won or lost, and the fighting goes on. Jackson also owned a plantation, Hermitage. Same area. That's where it gets its name. And it was a plantation in the truest sense of the term, with everything that entails. I've mentioned I grew up on the Tennessee-Kentucky line. We used to take field trips to Hermitage. Now back then, when you were there, you didn't learn about slavery. Not really. You didn't learn about the cruelty or anything like that. You were given a very sanitized version. You didn't really learn much about Jackson. You learned about the benefits of plantation life. And that happened because back then, Tennessee existed in an echo chamber. There were Confederate flags everywhere. The South was going to rise again, or whatever. Now I would imagine, after seeing the character of the people that are in that community today, the tours are a little bit different. I imagine they go into things in a little better detail and actually have some meaningful discussions about the cruelty. But it didn't happen at that time. It didn't happen at that time because it was an echo chamber. There weren't any dissenting voices. I have to feel that those people working for ICE or Border Patrol, they're in the same kind of echo chamber. And they don't realize that the war on immigrants, it's over. It's over. The public opinion has shifted. And that was illustrated by people in Hermitage. The war is over. The battles are going to still keep going on. The fighting will continue. But as far as this becoming an ongoing national policy, it's not going to happen. The thing is, Jackson became an icon because he won the battle after the war was over. If you go on fighting after the war is over and you lose, well, it's a little different. See, when this administration's over, the president, he's going to go back to his gold-plated toilets. He's set. You're working for Border Patrol or ICE now. You don't have that. I've already heard people who contract with the government talking about how they don't feel that they can hire anybody who worked specifically at Clint, was the conversation. Some of them because of the obvious PR issues, and some of them because they honestly feel like if you worked there and you participated, you can't make a moral decision. If you're working for the feds, you're working in one of these agencies, you're looking forward to your retirement and probably to that cush contracting job when you're out. Those jobs may be gone. Those jobs may be gone. And this conversation means nothing. It's not going to change that. Maybe public opinion sways back and people forgive it or forget it, but maybe not. It's not going to change anything for you. But I'm hoping that maybe it will change things for other people. They get asked to do something questionable. And they need to remember that the view inside an echo chamber, the view inside of an agency like that, it's not the view of the public. And the talking points on TV, if you're listening to those who support you, it's not the view of the public either. Hermitage, an impossibly diverse group of people, ages, ethnicities, languages, everything, banded together and broke the law publicly. No masks. Broke the law to get that father and son away from ICE. That's a turning point. A lot of people pointed to religious organizations sheltering those that ICE was looking for as a turning point. Yeah, but you can count on religious organizations to do stuff like that most times. These are random people. These are neighbors. No fear. I'm certain that many of them understood they could have been arrested for that, and they did it anyway. That's the level of opposition that exists. It does not bode well for the future employment prospects of those in Border Patrol and ICE. Even those who don't take a moral stance on the issue, just from a PR perspective. The president sent you down a pretty bad road. But he'll be fine. Don't worry. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good night.